Clerk will call the roll.
Glenn Whitley, County Judge.
Here.
Roy C. Brooks, Commissioner Precinct 1.
Present.
Marty Van Rievensway, Commissioner Precinct 2.
Here.
Gary Fickus, Commissioner Precinct 3.
Here.
J.D. Johnson, Commissioner Precinct 4.
Here.
Constitutes a quorum.
Thank you. Our invocation today will be delivered by Rabbi Charlie Citron Walker from Congregation Beth Israel. After the invocation, please remain standing for the pledges. Welcome, sir.
I want to say what an honor it is to be delivering the invocation here on Election Day. This morning we join as one country on this historic day. We're a diverse community and a diverse nation, yet we have unity in purpose. The betterment of Tarrant County, the betterment of Texas, these United States of America, and the betterment of our world. We therefore pray to you, O God, whatever you conceive God to be, that we be blessed with wisdom and judgments as we strive to do good, patience and understanding as we strive to bring peace into our community and into our world. We pray that we be blessed with an appreciation of the little things, such as the opportunity to serve our community and take part in our democracy. We thank you for this court, for its work, and for all the blessings in our lives. And together we say, Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Under the Texas flag, I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate you coming out today, Rabbi.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Thank you.
Mr. Manius.
Thank you, Your Honor. Members of the Court, we have several announcements for the Court this morning. The first announcement is under Transportation, which is item 8L2. There was a revised court communication in your red folder this morning, and there was just an error on one of the dates, and we've made that correction. Also, members of the Court, today is Election Day. And because it is Election Day, we need to look at when we will be canvassing the results of the November election. I'm not asking for any indication right now, but the Election Code requires that we canvass the votes no earlier than Wednesday, November 12th, or later than Monday, November 17th. So it'll fall starting next a week from tomorrow, and then ending the Monday before our November 18th court day. So you'll simply look at your calendars, and we'll try to bring you in for that canvassing. While the statute says that 2 members of the court can actually serve as to perform this task, in the past we've always had a quorum of the court available. So you'll just simply check your calendar and let me know, and then we can discuss it a little bit farther. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Court members, you have before you the minutes of our regular meeting on October the 28th.
Move for approval.
Second. We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. We have, again, this is the first Tuesday of the month, and as such, we have I have the pleasure to introduce our employees for our employee recognition for the 5, 10, 15, 20, and 25-year employees. I had an opportunity to talk with the 20 and 25, and we'll spend a little bit of time with each one of them as we come to them. But what I'm going to do is I'll begin with the 5-year employees, and when I call your name, please stand and remain standing until I finish that particular group, and then we'll give you a round of applause and thanks. Let there be a little light. Beginning with our 5-year employees, our first one is Nikki Benoit from Commissioner of Precinct 4 Administration. Nikki, welcome. Anjanette Bostic, Sheriff Confinement. Wanda Crane, Sheriff Booking. Naomi Daniels, District Attorney Office. Looked like a thin crowd out there today. Jesse Epps, Juvenile Services. There's Jesse. Darlene Guerrero, Human Services. Darlene. Elizabeth Hernandez, Public Health. Antoine Meredith, Sheriff Communications. Peggy Miller, Juvenile Services. Christopher Miranda, Elections. Yeah, I would have been a little surprised if Christopher had been here today. Elijah Muhammad, Sheriff Booking. Claudia Munoz, Public Health. Thomas Pearson, Sheriff Booking. Neela Powers, Sheriff Records. And Stephen Simpson, Sheriff Booking. Let's give these 5-year employees a hand. Thank y'all. Now for our 10-year employees. Gerald Bell, District Attorney's Office. Moline Brazelton, Purchasing. Did I get close there? Yeah, well, I was afraid of that. That's kind of why I asked. I figured I'd done a job on that one. Miles Brissett, District Attorney's Office. Julie Crabb, Information Technology. Shannon Dowden, Justice of the Peace, Precinct 7. Bradley Gant, Sheriff Patrol. Susan Greer, District Attorney's Office. James Hudson, District Attorney's Office. Patricia James, CSCD. I'm going to miss this one. Is it Lan Walker, Public Health?
You may not have been imposing it.
Lane Walker, Public Health? Laney. Anybody with the name Walker? Public Health. Matthew Woodson, Sheriff Warrants. Matthew. And Elizabeth Wyatt, Information Technology. These are our 10-year employees. Let's give them a hand. Our 15-year employees, Rodney Apodaca, Precinct 4 Maintenance.
He's working and voting.
Well, I knew how to pronounce that one. I had him for a while.
Good man.
John Ella Carter, CSCD. Alvin Clay, Sheriff Confinement. Sean Colston, District Attorney's Office. Richard Furman, Sheriff Confinement. Darren Gabbert, District Attorney's Office. Darcy Haydock, Sheriff Booking. Tiloa McDonald, Tax Office. Andrea Molinax, Sheriff Courts. Rita Stafford, Public Health. Dorothy Starr, Tax Office. Let's give these 15-year employees a hand. Now again, as I said, with our 20-plus year employees, we recognize them and say a few words about them and about the time that they spent with the county. Our first individual this morning is Marla Fite from CSCD. Marla's been with us for 20 years. Began in Tarrant County in the MHMR area, and then I left and went to work in Hood County for a little bit, and then came back and started in CSCD after she had worked for Hood County a little bit. Started in the probation department in the transfers in area, and has been a field officer for a number of years since that point in time. When I asked her about her more memorable moments, she as many folks have said that were here at the time or and around the area, remember the shooting that occurred in the old courthouse. When I asked her what she liked most, she said she really enjoyed working. She still approaches every day as though it was the first day on the job. And she really is excited about the job that she does. As we went through the conversation, the thing she kept saying, and it really kind of stuck with me, is that she believes in the system. She said, you know, we deal with a lot of folks, but she says, I believe that what we're doing is the right thing and that we're really trying to help these folks turn themselves around and get back on the right track. And I could tell that she really, really believes in what she's doing and takes it very, very seriously. She said she enjoys coming to work every day. And I tell you what, Marla, we appreciate the 20 years you've given us, and we appreciate the way you approach your job. Thank you very much. Next is Lieutenant Heckman with Sheriff's Warrants Area. There's Lieutenant. Started off in the Sheriff's Department right after military. Coming out of the military, I think you said you'd come out and you'd had 3 weeks before you started to work with Tarrant County. Work started off in the old Belknap jail and worked the midnight shift. Then spent some, after being there for about 3 years, went into the patrol area. Also had an opportunity to work undercover, and now is lieutenant in the narcotics area. When I asked him about his more memorable moments, he said, you know, he was very, very excited about going into the patrol area. And then when he had a chance to work undercover, that was something else that he really, really enjoyed doing. I asked him what he liked most, and he said it was the opportunities that he had in the sheriff's office. He got to do everything that he ever really wanted to do. And I just kind of, from the conversation, I could just hear in his voice that he always had wanted to be in law enforcement, and that this was something that he really was, one, proud of, and two, really enjoyed doing. He said he works and has had an opportunity to work with a lot of great people and has made a lot of friends in the Sheriff's Department. He said he really loves having had the opportunity to work with folks in other areas of the county as well. Lieutenant Heckman, we appreciate very much the 20 years you've given to Tarrant County and the citizens of Tarrant County. Thank you. Next is Donna Howard with the District Attorney's Office. There's Donna. Donna started off in purchasing and then moved over to the Sheriff's Department in administration, and then went over to the Hot Checks Division for the DA, and working in that area now, still as a reserve officer. When I asked her a more memorable moment, she said the wonderful people that she had a chance to work with, and she thought back, and Chief Swanson, who many of us remember and know, Sergeant Yarborough, Stella Davis. She said all of these folks are folks that, as I think back over the 20 years that I've spent, those are the folks that immediately come to my mind as I think back. She also, she said some of the other more memorable moments were the time that she had to get to spend on the shooting range. She said she really enjoyed that. When I asked her what she liked most, it was, as so many people have said, the people. The people that she's had a chance to work with, to get to know, to really be almost a part of the family. When I asked her about anything else, she said, you know, I've just had some great supervisors. She said, I really enjoyed working during the holiday times of the year because it is such a close-knit family. It's really like, it's really like being home. It's really like being a part of a big family. She said, again, thinking back over the people, she said, I remember Sheriff Lon Evans and Sergeant Ballard, Lieutenant Grimes, James Cook, and Lieutenant Hawthorne. And again, it's the people. And I think that's what we hear so often as people talk about the time and the things that they remember. It's the people they've had a chance to work with, the people who've meant a lot in their lives. Donna, we appreciate what you've given to Tarrant County over the last 20 years. And I'm sure you've made that same difference in people who you've worked with, and we appreciate very much you spending it with us. Next is Maxine Lane with Cscd. There you go. I said, I know she said she was going to be able to make it. Started off in the Cscd and the HR area. She's been with us for 20 years and is still there after 20 years. When I asked her for some more memorable moments, she said, I've had a chance to work with with a great director in Robert Gunner, that he was a real team builder and a real caring person. And when I asked her what she liked most, it was, again, the people, and that she had a chance to become friends with a great many people in that department. When I asked her if there was anything else, she said, I really want to tell you how much I've enjoyed helping each other. The folks that when there's needs, they're always there to help and to work with you in whatever way we can. Maxine, we appreciate the 20 years you've given to Tarrant County. Thank you very, very much. Next is Juanita Morales from Domestic Relations. There she is. Started out in domestic relations as a paralegal in the intake area, then moved into the courts area as a paralegal, and then about 7 years ago she moved to become the office manager, and she now supervises 5 paralegals and 5 staff people. When I asked her for more memorable moments, she said some of the cases that she's had a chance to work on, and kind of the way she described it is, you keep working with these folks and you're trying to help them out, and you'll be talking with them, and all of a sudden, you'll just see them get it. The light just goes on, and she said those are just some of the things and some of the moments that I really, really enjoy. Sometimes it's not real early, but usually somewhere along the process, that light will go on, and I think what it speaks to is her willingness to keep working with them until that light does come on, and we appreciate that very much. When I asked her what she liked most, again, it was the people. She said it's like a family and really enjoys working with people in the other departments. And she mentioned, in particular, the district clerk's office and the folks in facilities as folks that, she said, I have an opportunity to work with different departments, and it's been great. She really enjoys doing her job, and she hopes to be doing it for many more years. And Juanita, we appreciate the 20 years you've given us, and we hope you give us another 20. Thank you very much. Next is Robert Shelby with Cscd. There's Robert. Robert started out in the Cscd area in the Northeast office and has had, in that particular area, has worked in the sex offender unit and then also at the Mansfield unit. He was actually there when they began building that, and he recalled that as we were talking. Has worked as a court officer, is now working in kind of the regular areas of Cscd. Most memorable moments, the building of the Mansfield unit. And, he recounted, he said, I really feel like that the concept was a good concept. As we're all aware, it ended up in kind of a bad way, but he believed very much that the concept was the right concept, and he really hated to see it end the way that it did. He said, I've been very happy working with the county. He enjoys very much the people that he's had a chance to work with. He said, he recounted that he's had an opportunity to work through 2 administrations, and both have been very pleasant to work with. Robert, we appreciate the 20 years you've given us. Thank you very much. Next is Oscar Wilkerson from the Sheriff's Bond Desk. Oscar started off, been here with us for 20 years. Today is the actual day, I believe, that you've got your 20th, or you start your 21st year. Started today. Started in the Sheriff's Department over in the old Belknap on the floors, made lead officer and then made corporal, then moved over to the new Corrections Center, and then came to the bond desk around 2000. When I asked him about his more memorable moments, he said, I've been here through 3 sheriffs, and each have been unique in their own way. He was actually also working on the 8th floor when the tornado hit. And so, he said he was very glad that building was built the way it was built. I think that tornado just kind of bounced off of it and headed toward downtown. he said, again, one of the more memorable moments was watching that correction center being built. When I asked him what he liked most, he said, I enjoy very much the people that I work with, but he said, right now in today's economy, I kind of like the security that the county offers. He said that he really feels like he is making a difference, and the fact that he does that, knowing that, is what really makes it enjoyable to come to work every day. He feels like that he is doing his part for protecting society, and we appreciate very much that concept, that thought, and the dedication you give to that. When I asked him about anything else, just as you would expect as a proud grandparent, he said, I just had my first grandchild. And he really is enjoying that. And I tell you what, Oscar, we appreciate the 20 years you've given to Tarrant County, and we hope you'll give us many more. Next is Sue Clanton with Cscd, and Sue has been with us for 25 years. Is she here? She said that she probably wouldn't be able to make it. There was enough of a hesitation in her voice that I thought I better get the information, because as sure as I don't get the information from her, she'll show up. She started in Cscd as a floater, has worked in almost every area, and was one of the first secretaries out at the Miller location. She said she just loves Cscd, and she said it's a real hoot. Sue's a character. She says she loves doing her job, and that's what she wants to do. She wants to do her job. And I could tell from her conversation that she has fun in what she's doing. I'm sorry that Sue couldn't be here, but when you see her, tell her congratulations for the 25 years she's given to Tarrant County. Next is Richard Colby, 25 years in the. He's now in the Sheriff's Court Family Law area. Now, Richard, are you hiding out? I thought he was going to be here. Started off in the old Belknap area, and he's now moved into the courts area. Has again worked with many of the different sheriffs. Loves the people, and what he said over and over again was the quality of the people he was working with. Not just how close they were and how good of friends they had become, but the quality and how dedicated everybody was to the service of the citizens of Tarrant County. So Richard's another one. If you see him, tell him congratulations. Next is Brenda Hansen, tax office, 25 years. There, Brenda. Started in voters registration area, then moved over to the D cards, which are the new property owners. She had to explain that to me. And then to the phone system, and is now in the refund department. And I told her, I said, that's probably a pretty good job to have. Most people will be pretty happy about getting a refund from the deal, as long as they get it as soon as they want it and as much as they want. When I asked her about her more memorable moments, she said, she remembered early on the big Christmas parties and the big Christmas trees that they'd have out in the lobby every year, and those were things that had really stuck in their memory. I see Robin, you're telling on yourself there, Robin. I see Robin shaking her head on those same types of things. When I asked her what she liked most, the stability of the job, she said when she began working for the county, she had twin boys and was just going through a divorce, and that the county was someplace that provided her with that stability and that security that she needed. And, we can appreciate that. Brenda, we appreciate the 25 years you've given to Tarrant County. Next is Don Riley, County Court at Law number 1. There's Don. He started out in County Court at Law number 2, and then when Judge Kice was elected, he moved over to County Court at Law number 1. When I asked him about his more memorable moments, he mentioned when they got to move to the old courthouse. That was it's a beautiful structure, it's a beautiful courtroom that they have there, and that he really remembered that and enjoyed that. He also remembered the courthouse shooting, but you have to remember they're on the same floor. They were right across the hall. So he really remembers kind of that courthouse shooting and kind of the confusion and the stuff that was going on that particular day. When I asked him what he liked most, again, it was the benefits and the fact that there was that steady paycheck coming in. Don, we appreciate very much the 25 years you've given to Tarrant County. Thank you very much. Our last honoree today is Ruby Waters from the Sheriff Confinement Area, 25 years. Started out in the Sheriff's Department on the bond desk, and then moved over into the Bail Bond Board Secretary, and then moved over to the floor in 2005, and is on the floors at this particular time. When I asked her about her more memorable moments, again, it was the different sheriffs and seeing those administrations kind of come and go. What she liked most was the chance to meet so many new people in the jobs that she had. And she said especially as she worked the bond desk and as bond board secretary, she had an opportunity to meet a lot of nice folks. And she also got to meet Commissioner Johnson.
And we miss her, too. Well, we've got some good ones now, but we miss Ruby.
You know, she said that she had a chance to work with a bunch of sheriffs from a lot of the different counties that come in and look at the way the operation worked. And when I asked her about anything else, she said, you know, I really enjoyed working with so many different people. But she said, I really, really enjoyed working with Suzanne and with Tom and with J.D. She said Commissioner Johnson was just a great individual to work with on that bail bond board, and that she kind of missed that. So I tell you what, Ruby, we appreciate very much the 25 years you've given to Tarrant County. Total number of years, 625 years of service to Tarrant County, these folks that we've introduced this morning. So let's give them another big round of applause. Now, we've got refreshments back in 504C, and so if you'll head back there at this time, they'll take your picture and give you some refreshments. They do have them back there.
It's good. Good job of it.
Go ahead and get back started.
Chairs on the floor.
We have 4 proclamations and/or resolutions to
Ratify.
ratify
Move for approval.
of all.
All 4 for ratification.
Second. We have a motion and a second to ratify all 4. That would be 6B, C, D, and E. In a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. You have before you the consent agenda.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Mr. Maynes?
Thank you, Your Honor. Members of the court, we have 3 additional items for the court this morning. On item number 1, we're requesting that the Commissioners Court approve a memorandum of understanding between the Supreme Court of Texas and Tarrant County to assist in establishing a statewide continuity of operations plan for judicial readiness in times of emergency.
Move approval. Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Members of the court, on item number 2, we're requesting that the Commissioners Court approve an amendment to the Resource Connection tenant lease as it relates to the Department of Veterans Affairs.
Move for approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Finally, members of the court, on item number 3, we're requesting that the court approve funding in the amount of $100,000 to support Year 4 of Phase 3 of the Arlington Downtown Transportation Economic Development Project, which focuses on transportation and housing needs in the Central Arlington University District.
Move for approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Could we get a briefing on what has been accomplished under that program?
Yes, yes, sir. You might recall we had a briefing last year, and we'll get another one this year.
They also want to bring up the report.
Go right ahead, Frank.
Thank you, Your Honor. We're requesting authorization for the auditor to cash these funds and subrogation of our claims in the amount of $1,857.15, $723.55, and $116.64.
Move for approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Ms. Glenn?
Move approval to receive and file the personnel agenda.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to receive and file the personnel agenda. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you. We have 2 additional items for the court this morning. The second item, we're asking the court to approve a waiver of terminal benefits for the 396th District Court. Their court coordinator is retiring at the end of this month, November, with 400 vacation hours. Actually, there's a net savings for this transaction of $4,200.
How does that work?
It will be the difference between the salary savings, the salary that the new incumbent will be earning versus the person leaving, and deducting from that the actual cost of the waiver. You have savings of $4,200. No, never happens.
Second.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
And our third and final item, we're asking for the approval of organizational changes for the Sheriff's Department. This actually is a twofold request. The first part, the court may recall that during your budget discussions for this year, there was some discussion about staffing the doors of the criminal courts building. What we are proposing is the elimination of 3 vacant detention officer positions to fund 2 deputy sheriff positions to provide that service. We would ask that change be approved today, 11-4. The second part of the request is related to a request by the City of Hazlet to increase patrol services via a contract that they have with Tarrant County. To accomplish this, of course, the contract will be brought back to you guys at a later date. What we're asking as part of this request is that we be allowed to expand the cadet program by 3 positions to ensure that there are sufficient resources available when the time comes. That request we're asking be effective 1/5/09, just to increase the number of cadets by 3, and there's no fiscal impact.
Move approval of both those items.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
What exactly is, somebody from the Sheriff's Department here?
No.
What are their plans as far as the position they're moving? I understand they're going to eliminate 3 detention officers, establish 2 deputy sheriff positions. Are we or are we not going to have someone at the door over there in this?
Yes, we will.
Huh?
Yes. The answer to that is yes.
Okay. Well, it wasn't very clear on here.
But when you said we're moving approval of both items, both items are contained in number 3. Is that correct?
That's correct. That's correct.
Any other discussion?
Yeah, the other one is the Haslett deal.
Okay. Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Mr. Smith?
Thank you, Your Honor. Members of the Court, we are requesting that the Commissioners Court approve changes to the agreements with the Texas Conference of Urban Counties for the Common Integrated Justice Tech Share Project to complete activities approved by Commissioners Court as a part of the county's IT Integrated Justice Project's budget for fiscal year 2009.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
What's the total amount of this?
A little over $2 million.
$2,320,248.50.
How many more of these payments are we going to have, do you know, on this program?
We will have a few more years, sir, but we don't know exactly what the cost will be since we analyze them every year before we give them to our steering committee.
This is on the integrated justice system.
That's
package.
correct.
Right.
Okay. Any other questions? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Ms. Lamb? Nope. Mr. Green?
Commissioners, we're requesting the court to authorize the City of Fort Worth, a trustee of tax foreclosed property, to convey an underground pipeline easement and temporary workspace across tax foreclosed properties at 1700 East Jessamine, 1712 and 1724 East Powell to the Texas Midstream Gas Services Company at a price of $45 per linear foot, which will be prorated to each taxing entity according to the regulated percentage, and sign the letter of approval.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Our second item, we're requesting the Commissioners Court to approve Amendment Number 1 to the pipeline easement agreement with Texas Midstream Gas Services to correct the expiration date in Court Order 101787 of a temporary construction easement in the connection with the conveyance of the pipeline easement and temporary construction easement across the resource connection at 1100 Campus Drive, and that expired on September the 1st of 2008, and the pipeline company has not performed any work to date on that easement, but they're getting ready to start soon.
So what are we extending?
The temporary easement, construction workspace easement.
Was this the easement that we had the tree mercy on a year or so ago? Kind of where they were going to take out all the trees in the creek?
Yes, and they're going to be replacing some of the trees when they do the work.
This gives an 120-day extension effective December 1.
Move approval.
Second. We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Commissioner Brooks, I believe you have an interlocal agreement.
I do. Mr. White is good. I move approval of 8M1 A and B on 9.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Commissioner Johnson.
I move approval of item M, 2A, B, C, D, E, and F.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Are there any appointments?
Your Honor, on the appointment area, under the Historical Commission, Commissioner Fickus has requested that the Commissioners Court appoint him as the liaison from the court to the Historical Commission. Currently, that's held by Commissioner Van Ravensway, and I believe that we're ready to make that appointment.
All right, then I would move that we make the appointment to Gary Fickus.
And I want a second and congratulations.
You know, we're having a good time out there. They
went
had
way
a
too
great
smooth.
summit the other night, and very well attended, and I was very impressed.
Remember, this goes past Election Day.
It does? You mean I got to do it tomorrow?
And hereafter.
Well, we hope it sticks.
Call the question, Your Honor.
We have motion and a second. Any other discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Move approval of the claims, including the addendum.
Second.
We have motion and a second to approve the claims. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Briefing items.
Your Honor, we do not have any briefing items for the court this morning.
Okay, I guess just we're fixing. I would just remind everybody to go vote if you haven't voted. We had record turnout, 459,000, I believe, for the early voting, which is just a little short of, I believe, the 50% mark. I think we were around 48%.
Yes.
So I know today's going to be a busy day, so I hope everybody gets out and get a chance to vote. Our Commissioners Court will now recess the open session and proceed to closed session to discuss items exempted under Sections 551.071, 072, 074, 076, and 087 of the Texas Government Code. return from closed session. There being no business, we're adjourned.
Works for me. Good luck, Gary.
Good luck, Commissioner Brooks.
Yeah.